What's up, guys, and welcome to this episode of Tuesday Night Talks. My name's Mikhail.
And I'm Hannah.
And today, you guys might recognize Tim, actually. We used to know each other a long time ago. Played in a band 10 years ago. Since then, he's been up to a lot of stuff. Most recently, just, I'm going to say, retired from business banking to start your own company. Is that cool? I kind of like it like that.
No, it's dope.
No.
I like the sound of it.
Yeah.
Actually, I'm on like a temporary leave right now to kind of pursue all of this. I had some family stuff come up that forced me to leave business banking for a little bit. I might go back, I don't know, but hopefully all this stuff pans out so I don't have to.
Sure. Yeah, for sure.
Man.
So for everybody just checking in, if you've never checked in before, every Tuesday night we do a live Q&A for anything business related, marketing related. We should start talking about running. I said this last time and I messed it up. I want to talk about running, and the best place to get Eggs Benedict would be the best. So if you do have any questions about anything social media marketing, digital marketing, Tim's also here to answer maybe some basic high-level questions about, you know, maybe managing finances in business, because he dealt with a lot of people like that. Feel free to ask those questions below, and we'll be sure to get to them. But first, to everybody who doesn't know you, Tim, why don't you introduce yourself, a little bit about your background, and what the hell you've been up to for like a decade?
For sure. Thank you guys for having me. So yeah, Mick and I actually go way back. We were really good friends growing up. Like what we met when we were like 8.
Yes.
Yeah. We've known each other for over 15 years or something like that now, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's actually over 22 years.
Okay, wow. But yeah, so we grew up in South Orange County, went to the same high school. We started a rock band. We're all like into that whole like lifestyle thing, you know, like skating, playing in a band, just kind of like, you know, doing our thing, trying to be cool. And then, I guess we could just fast forward. Like after college, all throughout high school and in college, I worked retail. So I was always in the fashion industry.
Sure.
Fashion's always been like super like important to me and like a big passion of mine.
Right.
You know, in retail, I was there for like 15 plus years, and I learned a lot on like sales, marketing, kind of like business strategy, execution, and planning, which kind of led me to business banking after college.
Awesome.
So, you know, learned a lot on what not to do from different clients that I had. Yeah.
What would be the biggest recommendation of something not to do as a small business owner financially?
One of the biggest things that you don't want to do financially, I mean, we're talking finance, right? So honestly, what you don't want to do is not plan. I mean, we were just watching some YouTube video today before you guys came, and some guy was talking about like, dude, finance is so easy. You don't have to be like a mathematician or anything like that. You just take a calculator and it's basic math. Like you add and subtract, you figure out how much something is gonna cost you, and then you figure out the cost margin, you know, and you go from there.
So just like don't spend more money than you're making?
Pretty much. Easier said than done, right?
Man,
right.
That was it this whole time, all these years. So how long were you in business banking?
I was in business banking for 2 years.
Sure.
Yeah, I was at the bank a total of 3.
Awesome. To everybody just checking in, Tim Lee's our guest this week. I'm really excited about this. We've been friends for a really long time. Ex-business banker, he's on leave right now, working in marketing for Coconut Fizz, as well as starting his own clothing line, which I'm really excited about. So if you guys do have any questions about marketing, business, finance, on a high level, we can't get too detailed, I don't think, if you're doing it live or anything like that. Feel free to ask your questions below, and we'll be sure to answer them. So instead of like what not to do, I mean, what are some of the qualities that you saw from the really successful business owners? Like what were they doing that were similar?
Yeah, number one, I always notice as like a personality trait from all of the most successful business clients that I've ever worked with is urgency. They all have that same personality trait. And urgency doesn't typically apply to somebody that's just like a type A personality. You know, you can get things done and be like, kind of have like a cool demeanor about you, but having an urgency to kind of like, you know, not only just talk about it, but be about it. Like, hey, I want to do this.
Sure.
This is how I'm going to get it done, and I'm going to take the first step right now.
Awesome. Yeah, I really like that. We actually got our first question in from, I want to say Chelsea. Yeah, Chelsea, thank you so much for checking in, first of all. But she asked, do you think that solopreneurs now have an advantage over big brands because everything's moving to authentic experiences and creating relationships as, relationships first, relationships centric first. Sorry, that's a little far away from me. Thanks in advance, and see you on Snap. Thank you so much for your question, Chelsea. I know I was just reading it out loud, but the question is, do we feel like solopreneurs or people just starting out have an advantage over big brands? I think that's kind of a double-edged sword. I think in the beginning, yes. It's funny because I've actually talked to a lot of people recently about building their personal brand in addition to building their business's brand. And I 100% wholeheartedly believe that the first interaction that somebody really wants to have with a company is with somebody who works at the company first, whether it's the CEO, the CMO, or something like that. So building your personal brand and having like your agency or your clothing line behind it is something that's really effective. Do you have anything to add to that?
I think the resources might be smaller,
Sure.
and as a solopreneur, or at least when you're starting out, but yeah, I think you have more of an ability to connect, but that doesn't mean that larger corporations can't. I mean, if you think about Virgin,
Right.
Richard Branson,
Right.
multi-million-dollar company, billion-dollar company, but they're making connections and they're making great customer experience.
Yeah. Even Richard Branson has built such a big personal brand. It might not be on Instagram in the same way, but it's like Virgin is him. You know what I mean? If he says he's doing something, they're gonna come off the back of that. So, what would you say about that?
I totally agree with you guys. I think the what attracts, especially right now, the millennial age to kind of like what's the term that she used? Like, just pretty much like the solopreneurs, like the smaller brands, is the fact that there's that connection, like you mentioned, Hannah. But also when you're really looking for something to buy or buy into, you're looking for value. So the value factor is still there. The big companies are trying to push value, the smaller companies are trying to push value, hopefully, the same thing. But when it's a smaller company, I feel like maybe you can connect more with their value. It seems more authentic, right?
Yeah.
Because like you mentioned, it pretty much at that point when it's a smaller brand, self-branding from whomever started it goes hand in hand, right? So then you start knowing who that person is, how they move, how they think, how they talk, what they're eating throughout the day, and you're like, man, I want to be what they're about. So I'm gonna be behind whatever they're pushing on this brand.
Additionally, I don't think like solopreneurs necessarily have a huge advantage. I think that
it's a different advantage.
When comparing, when it becomes a lot more practical and it's a lot easier to build a personal brand and maybe start an agency or clothing line or some of these smaller businesses because of the fact that it's so much easier to reach people. So I think that that's a big thing. But really, I mean, you think of resources, like, dude, like we can't hire LeBron to put on a shirt, you know what I mean, and sell more stuff like that. So yeah, I think that's really it.
And to be honest, there's no better time than now to pursue.
Yeah.
The barrier to entry is so low that you don't have an excuse anymore.
Yeah,
you
exactly.
you just do it.
Yeah, so they
Make
definitely
mistakes, just do it.
That's the advantage. But it's like, dude, Wendy's. I don't know if you guys have checked out the Wendy's social campaign.
Oh my god!
But they crushed it and got super personal. Something like Twitter, they were able to connect with people one-on-one. To be honest, I think as I go more into it, if the big brands are smart, they have way more of an advantage because they can actually scale their reach. But with that being said, solopreneurs, if they take advantage of social media and producing content on a regular basis, it can be very successful. So
I think to the flip side of that, I think with all the entrepreneurs and solopreneurs and everything like that, the trend is to kind of bash people working at larger corporations, but that's not at all what. I mean, if you don't want to have the stress of trying to start your own company and see when the checks are coming in, there's nothing wrong with working at a corporation. There are differences.
There's two different types of people.
And I think that's definitely something that I've seen a lot of. Is like, oh well, if you're not an entrepreneur, you're not a real business person.
Business like entrepreneur or salaryman, and there's nothing wrong with you.
It doesn't. I don't think that matters. But yeah, anybody who has access to an iPhone has a great advantage to really build something great. So, Jaquan, very nice for you to check in. Marissa, it's great to see you. Chelsea, thank you so much for your question. For everybody just checking in right now, feel free to ask your questions below, and we will be sure to answer them live. Our guest today is Tim Lee. Tim, let's talk about some of the new projects that you're on. Do you want to start with the Coconut Fizz or Manif?
I guess we can start with Coconut Fizz because
Can I
that's
grab
kind
one?
of, yeah, for sure. This is like, I don't have any more, so.
Didn't come prepared. No, it's okay.
No, I didn't.
This stuff is actually really good. I tried it last time I was over here, and it's good. Like, I like traditional coconut water, but I also really enjoy sodas sometimes, to be honest. So this was kind of a nice thing. But Coconut Fizz.
Yeah.
Coconut Fizz on Instagram.
Coconut Fizz is on Instagram. It's actually Drink Coconut Fizz. So at Drink Coconut Fizz. That's our Instagram page right now. We got some cool content on its way.
So what are you doing with them?
So actually, Coconut Fizz is my uncle's product. So we have a family owned business in the food industry, manufacturing and distribution. And as soon as I saw them come out with that product, I'm like, yo, you guys need to take this business to the next level because you guys cannot miss out on an opportunity that you have here. Definitely. Right? So they're kind of like a traditional way. They have like a traditional way of doing business. They don't really have anybody right now managing social media. They had no social media, matter of fact, and
Sure.
just kind of take it to that next level, right? Mm-hmm. To create that demand and everything like that. So that's where I stepped in. I'm like, look, I'm not at the bank right now. I'm probably going back end of August, maybe not. Give me 3 months to kind of, push this marketing strategy execution campaign for you guys and show you what I can do, and hopefully, it catches on with them first, right?
Sure.
They have to understand and see value in it,
right.
And then, take it from there. So, essentially, everything that I'm doing with Coconut Fizz as far as marketing execution is kind of like an experiment for me,
right.
On how to run Manif,
right.
also. So when I got into Coconut Fizz and they let me take on the social media campaign, I actually brought on my friends to help me out with me.
Sure.
So I have John, he's a media manager at another company, great photographer, content developer. Then we have Kevin, he's got a really good eye for what's hot, what's not, and kind of creative direction execution kind of helps with that, and video shots and editing. So we're applying that. You can almost think of it as we're one social media marketing team, kind of like
sure.
you guys, right? Mm-hmm. And then whatever works and whatever does not work for Coconut Fizz, right behind it we have Manif brands.
Sure.
So we're like, okay, if we turn left with Coconut Fizz and it doesn't work out, well, with Manif brand we'll go
sure.
right. So it's essentially kind of like the three of us are trying to perfect this marketing strategy execution.
Yeah,
and how
for sure.
And then eventually, once you perfect that, you can apply that to any business, to be honest.
Absolutely. Yeah, I think something like CPGs, especially like this, and then a lot of clothing brands, they're marketing companies. Every vodka company, they're just a marketing company. A lot of it, especially when it's something that's commoditized, it's just like how well can you connect with your target audience, and that's really what's going to happen from that. So I'm pumped for that. I'm excited to see where that goes. And you guys actually have KoreanFoods.com.
Yes.
Is it Korean Foods or KoreanFood.com?
Plural, so KoreanFoods.com.
That's insane that you have that URL. I can only, Matt's checking this out right now, and I'm curious as to what Matt thinks about having KoreanFoods.com. He's an SEO expert, so
nice.
He did ask a question that we'll get to in a second. But I also want to know a little bit about Manif. So on on a super high level, not a lot of people I don't think will understand what Manif in itself means. So tell us a little bit about that story.
So Manif is our clothing brand that we have right now. I started it 4 or 5 years ago on my own as more like a luxury cut and sew men's streetwear line.
Sure.
And then kind of can
I pause you real quick?
Yeah, for sure.
Can I, we never really do this. We always have this steady cam, but can we just kind of show off what's going on
with a lot
of this stuff?
So those
come
are
here
3
with us.
pieces.
All right, live. We're live, baby, live.
These are 3 pieces right over here. I'm wearing one of them. This is called the Chrome Tee, designed by John over here. He's working on some stuff right now. This is all our content, media content. He doesn't like being on camera. So this is the man. So all of our all 3 shirts right now are the long tee, kind of the fast fashion, as you call it, what's trending right now. And then we have that hit on the back. Manif, and then right here, Your Destiny. So Manif, Your Destiny. Manif, Your Destiny, that's our slogan.
Is it short for manifest?
Correct.
Cool.
So this is the white classic right here. So this is our Manif logo.
Cool.
Again, same tee, just a basic, right? And then we have it in black. we're not trying to do anything too crazy, you know, as far as branding and building longevity. We're just trying to make some pieces that people can afford, but would, you know, want to wear. That's what's in right now. And then obviously you guys saw this one. So 3 pieces, that's what we have. We don't want to hit everybody once we launch with too many choices. That's another kind of like branding and marketing strategy that we're taking. Not giving people too many choices, so then this way, once we do like the proper teasers, you know, advertising, marketing, and building up the hype, then once, you know, the product becomes available, it's like, okay, well, we're so, you know, about your movement that we don't have a choice but to buy whatever you guys have available, which is just 3 pieces, right?
I really like that. I'm just waiting for you guys, like I said last time, to come out with a nice white V, and then maybe I'll be a regular customer. Those long shirts
for you.
That'd be cool. Those long, I'm short, so it doesn't really work as well for me.
Well, I got you.
For sure. So what are some of the key points? Okay, so actually we should probably answer one of these questions. Corey's checking in here. Corey, first of all, thank you so much for this question. It says, all companies live and die by marketing decisions. Marketing is the single most important aspect. Yes. Thank you very much for your comment.
Totally.
I definitely want to get to, we should have really planned this part a little bit better. But Matthew asks, do your business owner clients do you ask any of your business owner clients regarding their routines, where they find their inspiration, how they got into the business, etc.? Like, have you seen any patterns with the successful business owner?
Yeah, totally. So most, like I said, the ones that I personally gravitated towards that were successful, that came to my office at the bank, sat down with me, we'd review their financials, and I would continue to see on their, you know, spreadsheets like profit, right? Mm-hmm. Same thing, they're so organized.
Sure.
You don't have to get too crazy. You know, I live off iCalendar.
So being organized is a big thing.
Dude, like, you know, you have to have like a structure. I mean, you live and breathe that.
Yeah.
For sure.
Yeah.
Somebody has to be.
Okay.
Somebody has to be. I'm glad.
I get it.
I've known him for 20 plus years. I can never fill that.
Yeah. Oh man.
But yeah, so they're planned. You know, and they're organized. Mm-hmm. You know, I mean, I can get more into it, but I mean, it's just like, I mean, look at you. You have a routine, right? You get up you're in the gym at what, like 5 a.m. every single day, 5:30?
I try to get
I see your snaps. You don't have time to stand unless you're lying and just trying to make everybody else feel bad.
Lately, it hasn't been that early, although I've been known to do that. But it wasn't ever at 5. It was like 6:45 a.m.
Yeah, that's wild. Yeah. That's awesome. But, you know, when you have structure and you have, you know, like small daily tasks that you do, like, for example, waking up and just doing your bed, mentally you've already accomplished something right from the beginning. Mm-hmm. So you take that mentality and you're tasking throughout the day, again with that urgency, you're getting things done.
Sure.
So that's planning and execution. You know, you can talk about your dreams all you want, you can talk about all the things that you want to do, all the money that you want to make, but all that takes planning.
Sure.
And then executing.
Yeah, 100. What are some of your like daily routines to like get stuff done? Other than keeping me in line, apparently.
You gave me that tip.
That is a full-time job.
So yeah, I mean, I start working out, and then...
Actually, Hannah's the one that's up at 5 and at the gym. She just doesn't snap like I snap.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I don't feel the need to take gym selfies.
No, I do. I need that gratification to exist.
I feel like 40 minutes of my 1 hour workout is like gym selfies. And
so yeah, I'm in and out because I want to get to the next thing on my list.
Sure.
Successful.
And yeah, I started doing a bullet journal probably about
probably
like 4 months ago.
Is that similar to like a 5-minute journal type of thing?
No, it's a type of productivity that I have seen it help in my schedule. So it's different icons, and then you have a journal that's laid out very specifically, and I'm like, you can modify it to help however you you work.
Right.
But that's like, I'll write everything down, I'll do tasks, and then usually by the time I get to it in the morning, I'm trying to do it the night before. So if I do it in the morning, I like write down workout, cross it out right away.
Yeah, no,
so you
awesome.
feel like you see what you've done,
and
that makes you more motivated.
Sure.
And just kind of little things.
I wish more people would make that. I think I need like a bullet journal for myself as well. Man, thank you so much for all the comments, guys. Sorry it's a little tough to get to all of it today. It's a little bit different setup. We're here at where Manif is going to blow up, so I'm pumped on that. For everybody just checking in, every Tuesday night we do the live Q&A for anything business and marketing related. If you have any questions, feel free to answer them below. Tim, myself, and Hannah will dig into the comments later. If we don't get to your questions live, we'll definitely dig in later and answer those. So thank you so much for the engagement. It's really appreciated. And if you do, by any chance, find it really valuable, we'd love it if you shared it. There's a little button right there, just don't click out. Daphne, how you doing? Thank you so much for your comment. I heard to put it into the universe and believe it and work and get it. Yes. And it's funny because
you're mental.
Exactly. And you remember I used to live with Daphne.
Yeah.
Right? And we're kind of all on that, like trying to get to doing our own thing, which is great because now
10 you guys are doing your own thing.
10 years from that, Daphne's doing her own thing. You are like I am, you are, you know what I'm saying? And it's cool that it was like,
and surrounding yourself with the people that will help you get there.
Exactly.
Don't surround yourself with slackers.
Yeah. That is huge, actually. I think that auditing your network is actually very important.
Totally.
Yeah.
That comes with one of the other attributes to anybody who's successful in business is your power of influence, right?
Sure.
Mm-hmm.
If you have the right influence, there's a great book, I forget, is it Dale Carnegie, right?
Yes.
How to Make Friends and Influence People.
Yeah.
I live by that, man, and I have it, I've read it like 3 different times. I have it on an audiobook. I listen to it sometimes when I drive. But power of influence is pretty much how well you can get the people who surround you or your network to buy into your vision.
Sure.
Because it can get really frustrating at times when you're part of like, a business partnership, for example. You're like, yeah, I want to partner up with you because I like you, you're my friend, let's do this business. But one person is taking the lead and you're just not really vibing or clearly seeing their vision. It gets frustrating for that person.
Yeah.
So really, instead of trying to, when you're in a business, partnership or something like that, instead of trying to force your ideas and your vision down, your people's throats, it's more about, how do I present this to them to have buy-in,
Sure.
right? And then that's how you kind of weed out, the people that maybe shouldn't be there in the first place. They're just not buying in, and everybody else is, and it is what it is.
Yeah, I think that's obvious. That's really important. I actually knew that. I figured that out in my last company. Like if there's even one person in a group of people who doesn't buy it out, you got to cut that out quickly. Otherwise, it's just gonna tank, and you really gotta be in a situation where everybody has a common goal.
Mm-hmm. And I think you want to be a giving person. You want to be generous. At the same time, you need to be a little bit selfish as an entrepreneur or as a business owner, business partner. That you need to take care of yourself first to a certain extent. You can't let that extend too far.
Yeah.
But you also do need to protect your me time every day and focus on what you need to do. Self-care. I lived with social workers for a couple of years. I'm all about that self-care.
Yeah.
It's so important. But just remember that, be a little selfish.
Absolutely.
Yeah, no, I love that.
I think Tony Robbins says it really well. I think he says be firm in your destination, but flexible in how you get there, right?
Yeah.
And I think that's really one of the biggest things. How are we doing on time?
8 minutes.
8 minutes, cool. So tell us a little bit more.
8 minutes.
Yeah, a little bit about 8 minutes, which is great. But let's get back to Manif real quick. When are you guys launching?
So we're set to launch probably sometime the end of this week. Our online shop should be available. It's going to be manif.merchlabs.com.
Cool.
Our Instagram, John's working on it right now. It's going to launch tonight. So you can follow us on Instagram, Manif Brand on Instagram. Yeah, at Manif Brand.
Yeah, I'm really pumped on that. That's really exciting.
Yeah.
Any talk about a girls line coming up?
That's something that we definitely want to pursue, so it's in the works, but we don't want to put too much on our table and sacrifice quality or anything like that with whatever, with what we're doing right now with the guys stuff. But yes, eventually there will be Manif Brand for women. It's going to be geared more towards kind of active wear, active lifestyle. I feel like that's a huge market right now for any brand that kind of wants to, break into both markets.
Yes, absolutely. That's exciting. I'm really pumped. First of all, I don't think that it's going to hurt to wrap up a little bit early. I'm missing a bunch of the questions as far away, and I want to make sure that we actually get to them efficiently.
We'll answer them later.
Yeah, so we'll definitely come in and answer those in the comments. Tim, where can we find you?
I'm on Instagram at Timothy. What's my Instagram? At Timothy X James, but the A in the James is a V.
We gotta work on that.
Because that's how how cool people do it in 7th grade.
We'll actually, you know what? Actually, it was like something. I think mine was like XX Simple Tragedy XXX, something crazy. The more X's you had, the more chances you had of like maybe getting a new friend. I think it was back in high school. Cool. So we can find you at Timothy James. The V, we'll link it. Cool. Well, thank you so much for having us.
Yeah, thank you so much
for being here. Yeah,
Sure.
really appreciate that. And everybody who checked in this whole time, thank you so much. I really appreciate that. Appreciate the engagement a lot. Be sure to check in next week, 7 p.m. Tuesday. And again, actually, let's wrap up with this question from Maggie. Do you get more engagement on Facebook Live or Instagram Live? Facebook Live, 100%. 100%. I don't think people have bought into the Instagram Live thing yet, to be honest.
I don't even think some brands that I've seen do it right when Instagram Live was released. They aren't really doing it anymore. They aren't seeing much traction.
It could be different now that Instagram Live, I think, what did we see this morning?
Instagram Live.
Start saving live videos like Facebook.
Sure.
So maybe, I don't know. I don't know if I read that right. Or...
So here's how I really feel about that. And I actually really like this question. Deepa's like, yeah, brother. She asked, the guitar's right there. He didn't want to play it. It's not me. So when it comes to Facebook Live and Instagram Live, I think that the user experience or the user's mindset on Facebook is completely different than what it is on Instagram.
Yeah.
On Instagram, it's very quick, like swipe up, double tap, swipe up, double tap, and people aren't really like engaging in the same way that they're engaging on Facebook, where they're watching a video.
They're more likely to linger.
Exactly. They're more likely to linger on Facebook. They'll watch a video if it's good enough for a full 2 minutes, which is a crazy amount of time.
I know, right?
You know what I mean? So I think that mindset is completely different, which is why I don't see Instagram Live popping off the same way that Facebook will. In addition to that, the organic reach on Facebook is still much better. But with that being said, something that I would actually recommend doing, even though we're not doing it, is launch both at the same time. Most likely, there's more than one iPhone in any room if you're with more than one person. So launch both at the same time. It's always important to test it. I think actually we'll start doing that as well. Start doing Instagram Live at the same time and seeing which one grows. But for the time being, definitely Facebook. But now that Instagram is pushing that live feature a little bit more, check it out. There's definitely no hurt in it. But when it comes to, you always have to have Facebook as kind of like your foundation, not just for reach and the user base, but also for the Facebook ads platform, which ties into Instagram. So make sure that is a part of your marketing mix at all times. So again, everybody checking in, thank you so much. We're going to wrap up next week. Be sure to check in at 7 p.m. PST, and we'll be answering your questions live. Tim, thank you so much again.
Thank you, guys.
Yeah, and we're out.